Good evening, beloved and friends. I'm excited to be with you this evening. It is our summer session, actually our second academic session, and again, this is going to be an exciting time. If you have a student, high school student, sophomore, junior, senior, college student, freshman, sophomore, this program has helped facilitate some of the challenges that students have all throughout college. It was birthed out of college, and I decided some time ago to bring the program to the high school level. So I'm going to try to just talk plain to you about some of the things that are inside the book that'd be helpful. Research, and I'll start every session like this. Research says that teachers spend so much time in the fall trying to get students back to the level they were the year before. That's in their attention span, that's in their paying attention to details, that's doing homework, that's staying focused, that's staying in their seat, concentrating, practicing good habits as a student. And so I have taken it upon myself to just simply say, we need to not have discussions around academic strategies. We actually need to have discussions about the things that will help us and keep us polished in the classroom. And those things are time management, reading, healthy reading in the summer, prioritizing, planning, how to lead how to lead discussions effectively, polishing on those articulation and eloquent speech details that we need to have, the way we position ourselves in front of people, social network, how we shake hands, how we engage with people. So there are many things that we could be working on in the summertime, to just keep our mind fresh and polished, so that when we arrive in school in the fall, teachers don't have to spend so much time getting your student back on track. No matter if you're going to high school, in high school, going to college, or in college, these exercises, these practical ideas can be very helpful. All right. So first, here's my contact information. Give me one second. I don't know, we're having some technical difficulties. Give me one second here, we're having some technical difficulties. Let's see here. Oh, wow. Just give me a few minutes. I don't know what happened, but everything is freezing up, so we're gonna try to go a different direction here. All right. Here's my contact information. This information will be helpful for if you want to email me, have any follow-up, or text me, or give me a call. I'm willing to help any student throughout the summer just to prepare for the fall. For the first thing is having a healthy, balanced life with school and life. And so I'm not a advocate that you have to just dig in and just be a strong book smart person and you have no social skills, or you do well on tests but you don't interact with other people. I am an advocate of having a balanced life. My 20 years in higher education and working at 3 different colleges, small private institutions, I have learned that a balanced life is more helpful than any other approach to the classroom. And so I'm not a proponent and an advocate of just staying strictly about the classes. You have to be happy. You have to enjoy the college life. You have to meet new people. You have to network. You have to join affinity groups. You have to do things on your own. So I'm a big advocate of you got to do some exercise, okay? You have to drink water. All right, we don't want to clog the mind or stress the body out or tear down the immune system because we do not have a balanced life. I think you should try the Netflix thing. I really do. I just think it needs to be scheduled, and we're going to talk about that. Netflix is not a bad thing. It just needs to be managed differently and managed well. And so Netflix, I think there's times where you need to relax. You need to take a walk. You need to sit around at the house. You need to watch TV. There is a balance to life. You cannot just grind. You're going to need some outlets, okay? Or you're not going to be successful. If you build and fill your schedule up with just academics, you leave no room for relief. You leave no room for stress relievers, okay? So I believe in taking naps. You gotta take a nap. My son is a student athlete, and when we train, I encourage him, when his schedule permits, take a nap. Take a nap, let your body recover, let your muscles recover, let your mind rest so you can wake up and be fresh again, okay? Of course, we gotta study. We gotta put the time in. We're gonna talk about that a little bit today, about studying and what is that like, what it looks like at the college level, how to manage your time differently. So I'm excited about what's going to be discussed today. Hey, take walks. I already mentioned that. Exercise. Read for personal growth. You don't have to always read a scholarly book. You can read things that are motivating, inspiring. Read for personal growth. All right? Laugh. We had technical difficulty to start this session, and I'm not offended, I'm not distracted, etc. You got to be able to laugh about it. You got to be able to move on. You got to be able to adjust and proceed. This is not about being a perfectionist. This is about pursuing perfection. All right, so it's about progress. It's about getting better. It's about doing things differently. It's about improvement. And so these are the things I need you to be thinking about and not being so hard on yourself, because sometimes the pressure that you apply to yourself, all right, can be greater than the pressure that is outside of you. I want you to hear that. The pressure that you apply to yourself can be greater than the pressure that's outside of you, okay? And after laughing, there may be times when you need to cry. If you need to cry, let it out. You need to express yourself, let it out. If you feel like you let yourself down or let someone else down, or your feelings have been hurt, it's okay, all right? Because all of these things, if we don't have a balance in these things, then you're never going to be successful in the classroom because you'll be distracted, okay? And that's where the mental health stand, because you're trying to be tough. You're trying not to show your emotions, all right? And so these things are critical. Next, journal. Write. Get your feelings out of your mind. Get your feelings off your heart. Put your feelings and your emotions on paper. Get them out. It is so therapeutic to write, and then to read what you write, or to read to others what you write, okay? Have a journal. All right? These are the things that I have seen that have been successful for students at the college level, and they have done very well, excelling in every area, all their classes, writing papers, study groups, etc. Time management, having a planner, is because they have a balance. And I want you to have a balance. But that practice doesn't start in September. That practice has to start now. We have to do something now to change the habits that we normally have. If you want different results, you got to change some of the habits. Okay? All right. Next slide. Personal contract. Here's your chance to have a personal contract with yourself. The top says, I blank, and that's where your name go, pledge to do the following. If you can't hold yourself accountable, you can't expect others to hold you accountable. You can't. If you can't hold yourself accountable. I know the saying of, I need people to hold me accountable. Listen, that's going to get old. I need you to hold yourself accountable. I need you to have an interest in your academic learning. I need you to come into the classroom ready to engage, ready to focus, ready to contribute. Okay? I, Leon, pledge to do the following. Here's the following. Attend class regularly. No skipping class. Go to class. Go and keep on. They are there to teach those who are sitting in the seats. High school, they'll do a little bit more hand-holding and babysitting to let parents know when you're not in class. But I'm telling you, this is something you have to pledge to yourself. Attend class regularly. Number 2, develop a planner. You got to have a plan. You got to take notes. You got to write down your schedule. Okay? I'm guilty of forgetting things. All right? So I have to make a note. I have to talk to my phone. I have to tell Siri to help me. All right? But I'm guilty of forgetting things because I don't do the organization and planning well. So I work really hard at it to be fairly good at it. Okay? All right? I'm not talking from a position of expertise. No. I want you to understand, even as a professional, even as a pastor, okay, even as a leader in the community who have led young professionals, master's degree professionals, it is a constant work to plan. It is a constant work to dot I's and cross T's. It is a constant work to schedule yourself to be where you need to be. If it's not a skill set that comes natural to you, you have to work really hard. And it's okay. It's okay. We put too much pressure on ourselves to be perfect. It's not going to happen. Know your strengths, know your weaknesses, know your underdevelopments. And that's an underdevelopment for me. All right? I pledge to get rest. Okay? Now, if you're writing these down, I don't want you to pick all of them. Pick about 5. 3 to 5 of these things that you pledge to do. Eat healthy, exercise, set and achieve goals, complete homework ahead of time, respect my fellow students, be a good citizen in my community, perform random acts of kindness. Okay, listen, you have to be a good community person. No college campus, no high school wants students who are a detriment to the community, a menace to society. They want students who are going to show up and contribute in a positive way, as a positive role model, one who sheds light on subject matters, one who's good with tension and problem solving and decision making. Okay, those things just don't come. You have to practice those things, all right? And so there's some things here that 3 to 5 at the most, 5 at the most, I need you to pledge to do going into school. This is not when I show up. This is something I'm going to do right now as of June. I'm going to eat healthy. I'm going to get rest. I'm going to set and achieve goals. Okay? My son just recently got his freshman academic schedule is June. They sent the schedule out. They sent his residence hall. Okay, so I told him now we got to research each class to find out as much as we can about that subject area. Some people receive their schedule and they're headed to college and they've done nothing with their schedule. I'm trying to encourage you, be ahead of the conversation. Know exactly, all right, or as much as you can about the class you're about to take. All right? The classroom you're going to sit. That means I'm coming in the classroom engaged. I'm coming in the classroom ready to learn. I'm coming in the classroom as a participant. I'm not coming into the classroom as and allow the teacher to just deposit into me. I want to be an engaged learner. That means you have to do your homework, all right, in preparation. Okay? Next slide. One of the things that is a key to academic success is knowing the academic and personal spaces on campus if you're headed to college, and in your home or in your school if you're a high school student. So let's start with the high school. If your room is a place of gaming and watching television and listening to music, that may not be the right space for your academics. Maybe your academics is at the dining room table. Maybe academic space is at the kitchen table. Okay? You have to determine in your home what's your academic space and what's your personal space. Now, if you can blend the two and you can be in your room and you're disciplined enough to turn everything off while you do your homework, all right, maybe some light music in the back, so be it. You need to be comfortable. But here's what I try to tell students. You take tests in quiet spaces. So you have to train the brain to operate, communicate, function at a high level in the environment that's similar to test taking, which is oftentimes quiet. If you train your brain to music, sound, television, and that is the thing that your brain operates with, when you get into the classroom to take a test and it's silence and no talking, your brain is going to be a little confused, like, I can't discern how I should be functioning because I really need music. I really need sound in the background, okay? I need my lights a certain way. So I always tell students, we need to change the environment in which you perform. Let's think about it this way. Basketball players don't practice on football fields. And football players don't practice on basketball courts. They practice on football fields. And let's go one step further. When it comes to football, there's a natural grass field and then there's a turf field. So depending on your opponent and what they're telling their athletes, you need to get used to performing on the ground or the turf or the grass in which you're going to be playing. The same thing applies in the classroom. I need you to determine what is the best environment for you to function at a high level. I don't know anybody that take tests with music in the background in the classroom. I really don't. Okay? Keep that in mind. So, here are a few things we need to think about. Studying alone. I can't do well in groups because I'm a social person, so I'm going to either be disrupted or I'll be the disruptor. So I really need to study alone to process. All right? So where is that space for you if you're one of those study alone people? Next, few distractions. All right? There are places on college campuses where you can have fewer distractions. All right? Study alone, you can go to the library and be in the cubicle. Sometimes professors and academic departments leave their classrooms open for students to come back in the evening and study in the environment in which they are asked to take tests. Fewer distractions. Residence halls is a great place. A lab is a great place. all right, is fewer distractions. Social places, if you have the skill set to be in an environment where there's coffee offered and there's chit chat and chatter, you can be in a cafe. All right, here's what I would do. If I need to focus in the subject that I'm studying, if I'm writing a paper and it takes a lot of brain power, I probably won't choose the cafe because there's too much noise in the cafe. Okay? I probably would choose the library or the classroom. But if I can do something like math, which comes easy to me, I could probably do math in a cafe because it takes less focus and concentration. See, this is all part of getting to know yourself, because then that would dictate where you spend your time doing that work. All right? Now, there's also options of group work. If you need a study buddy, if you need an accountability partner, I don't discourage it. You just got to know what works for you. As long as the people in the group or your study buddy is not a distraction, and you go to the library, and we'll talk about this later in our sessions. If you go to your library and you can be effective and efficient, that's arriving at the time you said, sitting down and doing the work, and doing quality work. Not only did I get there on time, I had an end time of when I was going to leave, and while I was there, I accomplished these things. So you're effective and efficient with your time. If you can't get that out of a group or a partner, then you need to be doing things in isolation, okay? So let's look at a college campus. Here are a few things on a college campus. This is just a generic map of a college campus. And I want my high school students to think about this and futuristically to say, oh man, I can see myself studying in all of these different places. A lot of students who struggle, at least in my experience, they just chose the wrong environment to try to learn in. And they wasn't aware of the many resources and the many places, academic and personal spaces, where you could be successful. Okay? One, the student center. Every time a college builds a student center, they build spaces for students to sit. When people renovate their campus or they do new landscaping, they put in green space because they want students to be able to sit or lay in the grass and do academic things or throw the frisbee, etc. They take a lot of time rethinking their campus flow and how students navigate the campus. Okay, but the student center is one a lot of people sleep on. Okay, there's great places to study in the student center, dependent on the subject. Again, student center is also a high traffic area, so you have to think about is this a place to do a paper, or is this a place to look up vocabulary words? If it's something where you got to look up 50 definitions, you probably can do that in the student center. If you need to write a 10 to 15 page paper, that probably is not the place, okay? Writing center, know where the writing center is. High school students, know where your help comes from, okay? Writing centers are underutilized. Tutoring services, underutilized. Academic advisors, underutilized. Student affairs staff, underutilized. Because we have this thing where we say we can do everything on our own. We can do it by ourselves. And that's pride. That's all pride. That's all pride. The thing that saved me in my freshman year in college is I had an opportunity to take a study skills class. That was actually class because I didn't know how to study. And it taught me how to highlight and to underline and how to read and how to take notes and what's important on the page that I'm reading. I mean, it just gave me a skill set that I didn't have. And it saved me from being kicked out of college because I was performing below a 2.0. All right? Another part of that study skills class is I had to take every paper to the writing center before I handed it in to my professor. So here's what that means. That means you have to get your paper done, at least in the first draft. And then that first draft need to be taken to the Writer Center because it's a free service on most college campuses. They will evaluate your writing. They'll give you feedback via email or personally before you hand it in. But the key to all of it is getting the writing done early. Getting the writing done early. Take advantage of the Writing Center. Also, library. You got to know what a library is. High schools, depending on the high school, we don't spend enough time in our high school libraries. So what happens is we take that same approach to college. And the library is the last place that we go. And I'm trying to tell you there are great things in terms of achievement and success found in the time you put in the library. Find the library on your college campus. Utilize the library if you have a free or open time slot in high school. Okay, treat your home, your room, your bedroom as a library. All right, that means you got to shut everything off. You got to pretend that you're in a cubicle. This is a great discipline that's going to take a different type of skill set. All right, for you to be successful. I mentioned this before. Academic buildings. Academic buildings, again, especially in college, they leave the classrooms open so students can go in and take advantage of either using a whiteboard or sitting at a desk, having some peace. Okay, so use the academic buildings. Your residence halls. Every residence hall now, they have computer rooms and study lounges. They have quiet hours. So you not only set a standard and an expectation with your roommate, but the actual residence halls have quiet hours. There's a time where we asking everybody that lives in this building to keep it down so people can read and study, because it is an academic environment that you get to have fun in. But it is an academic environment. And I mentioned this before, coffee house. Take advantage of a coffee house if that works for you. I'm not that type of guy, but if to go hang out, I would. Here's another thing. Know your break time. You know, sometimes we're guilty as students. We go to the cafeteria and we go in and we eat for 15, 20 minutes, but we stay an hour. I need that to change, okay? You eat for 15, 20 minutes, but you stay an hour to an hour and a half. I need that to change. I need you to go in and eat, have some fellowship, because I believe in that, right? Laugh, joke, see your friends, check on them, they check on you, and then you need to leave. Students are guilty because they realize they're in the cafeteria an hour and a half, and they were done eating in the first 15 minutes. Okay, that could have been time they were studying, doing some math problems, knocking out some terms, going over some notes, etc. Okay? All right? So again, if you have any questions about this, this is a powerful piece, knowing these academic and personal spaces. Where's your relief? Where can I study? How can I be successful? Where can I get maximum potential at my peak performance time in my brain? And speaking of that, here's what's important. When it comes to peak performance, you won't be able to see this, but I'll explain it to you. This says energy line, okay? So if you have a piece of paper, I want you to create a vertical line and connect it with a horizontal line, okay? And on the vertical line, you're creating a chart. I want you to put high, medium, and low, all right? Along the base of the horizontal line, I want you to put from 8 a.m. to 12 a.m. Space it out however you want. Okay? This is a fun exercise. It's called an energy line. And what I want you to do, I'm going to give you a few more seconds. High, medium, and low. And then on the base of the horizontal line, it goes from 8 a.m. to 12 a.m. You can do about an hour. You can do about every 2 hours. I just want you to have this chart in front of you. Now, what I want you to do is put, the high, medium, and low represent your energy. All right? High, medium, and low represent your energy. The times by the hour or every 2 hours represent the hours of the day. All right? So what I want you to do, starting at 8 a.m., I want you to put an X on where your energy is at 8 a.m. So if you have low energy, you should be placing an X right above the 8 a.m. right there. If you got high energy, you should be placing an X up here. All right? So every 2 hours, I want you to put an X on where your energy, on average, where your energy is throughout the day. So if it's at 10 o'clock and you started at 8 and you're low, and now you're getting a little higher, you're almost at medium level energy. All right, so that X should be a little bit higher. Okay? Now, as you skyrocket and soar in your energy, there are times in a day, 12, 1, 2, or 3, where your energy comes down. This doesn't work if you're not honest with yourself. So make sure you put an X in the places of high, medium, and low, depending on the time throughout the day. And I know a lot of people, after eating, after getting up in the morning, making your way through the day, I know a lot of people kind of energy drops about 2 or 3 o'clock. Then it may pick back up around dinner time, 4, 5, 6, or 7. All right? And then put another X on when you start coming down in the evening. Now, the interesting thing that I found in college life, and I think it's true for the most part of high school students, there is high energy at 8, 9, 10, and 11, and then there is a crash after 12. I need you to be honest with yourself. Put the X every 2 hours of where your energy is, all the way through 12 a.m. We're not worried about after 12 a.m. this time. If you got other energy, draw and connect every X so you can see your graph and how your energy fluctuates throughout the day. Okay? Connect all the X's starting at 8 a.m. all the way to 12 a.m. All right? And then I want you to really take a look at your graph, because there's a story right there on your graph. Give you a few minutes to connect that. So important. This is a powerful exercise. I was asked to do this for professionals, because professionals often wonder, like, why am I so, what happens when I go to this meeting at 1 o'clock? And it's not the facilitator. It's not the subject area. The reason why you're exhausted is because that's how your body works. At 1 o'clock, your body shuts down. So you should have a graph, okay? And here's the fun part, okay? This is the hypothetical. Everything up to this point was reality. But here's the hypothetical now. Let's say, for example, you write in a math class at 9 a.m. Write math on your paper, okay? Let's say you have, at 11, you got a science class. So write science anywhere on your graph. Let's say at 2 o'clock, you got an English class. Write English on the 2 o'clock area. At 5 o'clock, you got a late class, 5 or 6. You got an art class at 5 o'clock. This is kind of a college schedule. High school, you could be a student athlete, you could be at practice, etc. All right? Then I want you to put at 10 o'clock, homework and studying. Homework and studying. Now, this is very telling, because if you hold your paper up and you look at it, you'll see why in certain subject areas you were not able to pay attention. It's not that you're not smart. it's now you realize that's when my energy is at its lowest. So what should I do? Maybe this is a time for some candy. Maybe this is a time for an energy bar. Maybe this is a time for a coffee. Maybe this is a time. Now we know, because we can't blame the professor. We can't blame the teacher. We can't blame the busyness of the schedule. Now the reality kicks in that, oh, my energy is low at this time. And if my energy is low, I lose focus and I lose that concentration, okay, at a very critical time. So for my college students who get to set their schedule, if your energy line is low at 8 and 9 o'clock, why would you schedule a class at 8 or 9 o'clock? You need to avoid, if possible, all 8 and 9 o'clock classes, because that's not your energy time. If you have to take it, then we got to suck it up. We got to make it work, right? But if you can avoid it, why put it on your schedule? So many people are so attracted to, let me get through my schedule and be done for the day so I can end my day by 2 o'clock and have the rest of the day to myself. Not thinking or understanding you loaded up your morning and your energy don't even make it to medium level. That's a bad decision. Bad decision. You have to, look, these are the things that students struggle with and they can't understand. They used to come in my office, he's so boring, she's so boring, it's just monotone, I can't focus, etc. And I take them through this exercise and then the revelation kicks in like, oh, my energy level is different. My energy level is different at this hour. So this ain't the time for me to complain. Maybe I do need to take a little drink into the classroom. Maybe I do need to kind of now focus in because I know this is a challenge for me. Maybe I need to change my sleeping pattern at night. Okay? And then here's what I found. Students study. So you have to make adjustments in your schedule so that this right here, studying and homework, is on the up scale. It's ascending, not declining. I hope you, whoever have done this exercise, I hope you have really learned something about yourself and how to schedule, how to manage your world, how to get proper rest so that your energy line is there. Several areas where there's nothing because you got to have that student-like balance. You got to have student-like balance where you don't have nothing. But it's about being efficient, and effective in your schedule. Not only set it, but you got to respect it. Now I got to do everything I put down on paper. All right? Here we go. Last slide. Check all that apply to you. Watch this. In order to be efficient and effective, in order to really work that planner and that schedule, you have to understand no time wasters. No time wasters. In my professional world now, I try not to take meetings that are not beneficial, advancement, progression. I don't have time to just sit around and do nothing. All right. So if you're guilty of these things, you need to go ahead and tell it by putting a check mark. All right. Talk to them on the phone. And for many of you, it's the Twitter, it's the TikTok, it's the surfing the internet. That's a time waster. There's no benefit in that. The people behind the scenes have already made their money from that. From the likes and the following and so on. You're just adding to it as a time waster because it's not helping you contribute to your goal unless it's in that social. If you plug in a blue area, substitute gaming for social, if you checking your phone in these empty spaces, I'm cool with that. But no, we tend to deal with our phone, okay, and during times that we're supposed to be studying or doing homework, when we're supposed to be focused and writing the paper, when we're supposed to be in the library. We're on our phone at the wrong time. Social media, texting. If you're guilty of the inability to say no, listen, my son will be a freshman in college. You have to understand, all freshmen going to college, you have to develop the audacity to say no. You have to do that for yourself, because a lot of people are going to fight you out. There's a lot of times you're going to look out your window and everybody will be outside throwing a football and playing frisbee and just laying out, etc. And you want to be out there with the fun and people laughing and all that other stuff. You have to be disciplined enough to say, I got to get this done before I go outside. Not that you can't go outside. You just got to say, I got to get this done first. All right? Video games, again, if you schedule it, I'm fine with it. If you're doing it outside of what you have designated at that time, then it's a time waster. All right? Family time. If family time is something that's scheduled and the family make a decision, all right, we're going to communicate on these days at these times. Okay? And not that it has to be so scheduled. But there are times where I can't call my son because he's going to be at football practice. There's times I won't be able to call my son because he's in the classroom or he may be studying. There's times that I have to stay away from as a parent. There's times that he's going to have to stay away from because he knows our schedule. Okay? So don't plug in time when the student should be studying. If you're a high school student and you've had dinner with the family, and you're saying you're going to go upstairs and study or do homework, go upstairs, close your door if that's permitted, and do your homework. Don't come back downstairs and have family time. And that family time, which was meant to be 15 minutes, is now an hour and a half. Now it becomes a time waster. So if we're going to have best practices in the home, we have to hold each other accountable to those best practices in the home. If we're going to have best practices of being efficient and effective and following the schedule in college, we have to practice those things. Okay? Again, this has been a joy for me for session number 2. Next week, we'll be back here again for summer session number 3. My contact information is there. I pray that this was helpful for you and you've learned something about academics and your readiness and preparation for academics. I apologize for the technical difficulties earlier, but we got through it. Some good information was shared, and these things are worth repeating in August and September. If you want to see the slides, I can post the slides. Whatever it is that you need me to do to help you out, I will make myself available to you because I want students to grow. I want students to learn. I want students to be successful at what they do. That is my time. It's been a joy again. I see you next week, same time, 6 o'clock. Thank you.